Imagine this. You're thousands of miles from home, standing in a foreign airport. The air is heavy. The clock ticks slowly, and every shadow feels like it's moving. You're waiting for a flight, but something inside you screams, "Run." Moments later, you vanish into thin air. This isn't a movie. This is real. This is the story of Lars Mittank. But before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome to Behind the Verdict, where we uncover the world's most chilling mysteries. Subscribe now, because some stories are so strange, you'll swear they can't be true. This is one of the strangest true mysteries ever caught on camera. Lars was 28, a construction worker from northern Germany. Not a celebrity, not an adventurer, just a calm, ordinary guy taking his first real vacation with friends. They flew to the Black Sea coast, to the resort town of Golden Sands. For 6 days in July 2014, life looked easy. Cheap beer, loud music, football on the beach. He messaged his mother, "All good, Mom." Then something changed. On the last night of the trip, Lars got into a brief fight with locals at a bar over a football match. Werder Bremen versus Bayern Munich. Witnesses said it ended quickly, a few punches, nothing serious. But the next morning he woke with severe ear pain. A doctor diagnosed a ruptured eardrum and prescribed antibiotics, warning him not to fly until it healed. His friends had to return home. Lars stayed behind, alone, checking into a small hotel called Hotel Color near Varna Airport. He told his mother he'd catch a later flight once he felt better. That was July 7th. During the next 24 hours, his behavior turned strange. He phoned his mom, panicking. He whispered that people were following him and were trying to rob or kill him. In his words, he said, "They're coming. Please freeze my credit cards," and he hung up. At 1 a.m., he left the hotel, vanished for the night, and returned at dawn looking terrified. He asked the receptionist where the nearest pharmacy was, then begged her to call a taxi to the airport. At 5 a.m., Lars reached the Varna airport, still clutching his small backpack. He had spoken to his mom earlier that morning. Worried, his mom suggested that he sees the airport doctor first before flying. Inside the clinic, he sat on the examination table, fidgeting. The airport doctor spoke softly, checking his ear, writing notes. A nurse would later recall his pupils were wide, his breathing uneven. The doctor suggested he rest before flying, maybe see a specialist later that day. Then something shifted. A construction worker walked past the doorway, part of a maintenance crew. Lars's head snapped up. He stared at the man, body rigid, eyes wide with a terror no one else could name. His voice trembled. "I don't want to die here." Without another word, he stood, leaving his backpack behind. He ran. What happened next was all captured on CCTV. Security cameras caught him at the entrance. Shoulders hunched, eyes darting, that yellow t-shirt glowing against the gray morning light. He looked like a man who hadn't slept, pale, trembling, trapped inside his own thoughts. First, he asked the receptionist for direction to the airport medical office. Minutes later, he's seen rushing down the narrow hallway. Then he burst through the airport's glass doors, nearly colliding with a passenger trolley. He doesn't slow down. He runs across the terminal parking area, his yellow shirt flashing in the cameras like a beacon. He reaches the edge of the airport fence, a tall wire barrier lined with brush. Without hesitation, he climbs, one hand, then the other, scaling it faster than anyone thought possible. He drops to the other side, lands hard, then keeps running full speed, straight toward the thick green fields beyond the runway. The final camera shows him as a small figure in the distance, the morning light spilling over him, his feet pounding the asphalt. Then the frame shifts, and he's gone. No one ever sees him again. Police combed the area with dogs and drones. They found no trace, no clothing, no phone, no wallet. Farmers nearby said they hadn't seen a stranger. Theories were made. What if he sustained a head injury causing psychosis? Or maybe side effects of medication? Assault. What if it was a voluntary disappearance? Was he chased? Was someone behind him? But each theory broke against the same wall. There was simply no sign of him. Back in Germany, his mother Sandra kept his number active. She appeared on talk shows, begged for information, traveled to Bulgaria every summer, walking the fields where he ran. Years passed, yet nothing about Lars. Each discovery dissolved into nothing. By 2024, the file still listed Lars Mittank as missing, status unknown. Investigators believe his fear was real, not necessarily fear of someone outside, but of what was happening inside his own mind. A ruptured eardrum can disturb balance, trigger disorientation. Combined with medication and stress, it can spiral into panic. But the truth is, no one can prove what happened once he ran into those trees. The mystery endures because every viewer of that video feels the same question rise. What could drive an ordinary man to run like that? What did he see or think he saw? In the end, the story of Lars Mittank isn't just about a disappearance. It's about how fragile the line is between safety and chaos, between a vacation photo and a headline. One moment you're laughing with friends under the summer sun. The next moment, you're gone forever at the edge of an airport car park. And though the world moved on and the fields of Varna remain empty, all that remains is a question that haunts everyone who has seen the footage. What really happened? And in that silence, somewhere in Germany, a mother still answers calls from unknown numbers, just in case it's her son. This is the story of Lars Mittank, a story that still whispers through the forests of Varna.